gosh, that Anna Kendrick is a terrible actress. Yes, sirree, and she was awful in this movie. Not charming or enjoyable or entertaining. She certainly can't walk the razor's edge between a comic performance that sets up false impressions of what the film and what the plot line is going to be, with the more dramatic, intense elements when the plot takes its shift and goes into a more dramatic and suspenseful area. No sirree, Bob. She can't pull that off. Ugh. If only she could be adorable and talented. Anyway, shameless attempting to woo Anna Kendrick notwithstanding. So, I've got to be honest here. This is one of those movies where I walk out of it, and honestly, the first thing I could think of to say is, what the fuck was that? But unlike other movies where I've walked out and had the first thought going through my head being, what the fuck was that? This was a what the fuck was that in completely overjoyed kind of way. This movie is fucked up. This movie is twisted. It is weird. It is convoluted. It is far-fetched. Its tone is all over the place. And I fucking loved it. Okay? So I think this movie, its advertising hasn't done it justice, because the advertising for this movie puts it in the frame of kind of a psychological thriller, which it kind of is. It puts it more in that realm of that Gone Girl movie with Ben Affleck a few years ago, which it flirts with, but isn't that. Okay? This film is a dark comedy. And you don't realize that until, I don't know, maybe 25, 30 minutes in. Because, okay, again, the advertising leads you to believe one thing. That this is going to be a more serious turn for all the actors involved. That, again, it's going, which all the actors involved are capable of doing good drama. So you're thinking, okay, we're going to go see one of those. And then the beginning is so kind of your typical Anna Kendrick character, the charmingly befuddled, little Barbie doll kind of character that she's been playing in most of her films, outside of things like Pitch Perfect. But what it turns out is that is all there as a bluff. It's there to kind of lure you into a false sense of security, because then when the movie shifts on a fucking dime, which it does frequently, it completely catches you off guard. When things go apeshit, and they do, when the psychological stuff starts coming in, it hits you even more because you're not prepared for it. You've been kind of going along with this weird, young mom who runs a video vlog and all that, meets the more sophisticated, miserably married drunk mom, and it's this comedy of this, that, and the other thing of Anna Kendrick doesn't like drinking strong martinis in the afternoon. But Blake Lively tells her not to say sorry and to be a strong woman, and now she's going to learn this, that, and the other thing, and that's all just, like I say, it's the blind. It's there, it's the red herring. And when it shifts, and there's stuff in there that makes you jump, it really hits because you are so unprepared for it. Because I think if you were going into this with feeling like I was, that you were going to see a psychological thriller, so you go into one of those with your body already kind of tensed. You're ready for it. Kind of like when you go to a horror movie, you're prepared for the scares. Even if they come out, even if they do scare you, you go in there a little tense because you know what's going to happen. But this one, again, spends a lot of time setting you up on the wrong path of what the tone of the film is, what the what the story is, what the characters are, and then it shifts very sharply. And in a lot of films, it'd be a very jagged turn all of a sudden to just go, whoa, and suddenly tone and everything shifts. And but this film makes it work. All right. Absolutely no thanks to Anna Kendrick at all. Okay. This movie really needs, for it to work as well as it does, it needs an actor who can turn on those dimes, who can play both those extremes. A character who can play, the almost rom-com mom, that rhymes, and then someone who is skilled enough to really give you pathos. If only they had gotten someone like that and weren't stuck with Anna Kendrick. Conversely, Blake Lively is an actor with, and I mean this in a good way. It's not going to sound like it. But Blake Lively is an actor who has very little screen presence to me. I don't know if that's just because I've seen very few of her films, or if it's just because she has, I don't know how to say it. She's not flat, she's not boring, she's not a bad actor. It's just she's very unassuming. She fits into the background well. Like the best film I ever saw her in before this one was The Shallows. And I think that worked because she was playing kind of an every person. She wasn't, supposed to be the glamorous star or anything. She was supposed to be, Sally Everyteen, who's stuck on a shark island. So as such, she's never really popped off the screen to me. But I gotta give her a lot of credit. She's pulling really difficult duty playing a character like this, who is like all over the place and holding on to sanity by the atoms on the tips of her fingernails and not really winning the fight there. Or it's not so much holding on to sanity, it's holding up the facade of sanity, which she does. She does very well because when you first meet this character, she's a little off-center. All right? And the question quickly becomes, is she, how nuts is she, or is she just eccentric? And as we go on, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And it doesn't help that she has absolutely nobody to act off of. I mean, acting against Anna Kendrick must be like acting against a brick wall. So, very intriguing story and played out, very well. It keeps your attention, and even though, the tone shifts very quickly and multiple times, I don't know, it kept with, this is the kind of movie that normally I'd hate. That normally I would hate. But for some reason, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed both the thriller, the mystery of it, and the comedy of it, the pathos. And that is a hard thing to balance. So when I say this thing is a black comedy, it is the very definition. It is textbook black comedy. It balances things. I think it goes a little too heavy on the comedy sometimes, but I think that it for the most part, it balances the story and the characters very, very well. It's not perfect, however. So I can't keep up the joke of bad-mouthing Anna Kendrick for this. I'm sorry. If I've just blown my chance to have Anna Kendrick fall in love with me. Oh well. Maybe next time. Maybe next time there's a Kristen Jessica Chastain movie out. Maybe I can try again. But if I'm going to talk about this, it's ironically, if I'm going to talk about the bad things that don't work in this movie, I have to talk about how good Anna Kendrick is. So it's like I couldn't keep the charade up. Maybe if I actually wrote these, it would help. So anyway, one of the things that works so well about this, again, is Anna Kendrick is just tailor-made for something like this. Her on-screen persona has been this one kind of charmingly befuddled character for a while, but she has the acting chops to, really pull out stunning dramatic works, and she can walk the line and shift gears, incredibly easily. So therefore, when she is being comical and being funny, it seems like a very natural funny. And I got to give Blake Lively some credit there too, where her character and her performance is a little bit more stiff and a little bit more, I don't know what the word would be, a little bit more straight, I guess. She can still pull off both ends of the spectrum that she needs to pull off to make the story and the movie work. But almost every other character outside of the main three, the two of them and their Blake Lively's husband, who's caught in the middle of it all, are so cartoony and so over the top that it looks like they're existing in a cartoon world. And maybe that was the intention of the director. It's one of the things that maybe I'd have to think about and maybe see the film once or twice more to kind of to see. But those characters didn't work at all. The film is also too long. The film solves its primary mystery, but then goes on for another, almost 45 minutes, I felt like. I don't know, but it felt like it came to a natural conclusion. There was a time when the film could have wrapped up, but it kept going, and so after a while I kind of got a little numb to things. So I think the editor needed to come in a little bit sooner. Also, and this is something that just bugged the fuck out of me, I don't know who did Blake Lively's wardrobe in this, but they need to be fucking shot. Now, as you can tell from my, fashion sense of hoodies and wrestling t-shirts, I am not exactly what Heidi Klum would consider fashion forward. All right. So I am not up to date on, what is fashionable and okay to wear. But, I have my images of what a rich, sophisticated, martini-drinking woman would be wearing, and it is not the clown outfits that she's in. Let's see if I can run down a couple from memory. So we'll go with one of the first ones I noticed was a sports jacket that she then gets rid of to have cuffs of a tuxedo shirt but no sleeves, and a pull-away shirt tucked behind a vest, which looks like something the $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase used to wear to the ring. So, that looks really... She comes in one scene wearing what looks like a tuxedo with maroon gloves for a fairly pivotal scene towards the climax of the film. She comes to meet Anna Kendrick in a white suit with no discernible shirt as far as I could tell. So she's wearing a jacket open, and the jacket is covering up her breasts. It did not seem like there was anything cupping the breasts or any kind of shirt. Carrying a skull cane. Now, again, I'm a cane man. I love canes, but this was one of those points you're like, okay, we're hitting the nail a little bit too firmly on the head here, people. I think we can, fucking really. Yeah, so the costume designer for her needed to be shot. I really, yeah. So it's like, other thing that makes me mad about this movie, and it's a stupid thing, but it makes me really mad. So I'm spoiling the film a little bit here, so spoiler alert, be mindful. So Anna Kendrick's character goes through this whole thing of hunting down all these clues and solving the big mystery and all of this. So at the very end of the film, she's doing this vlog. She does her vlog throughout the entire movie. It's a neat little framing device and a neat little narrative device to kind of move you from one episode of the mystery to the next. So they close out the film with it, and she's doing this vlog saying, so aside from my recipes and helpful home hints, if you have any mysteries you need solved, cold cases, send them my way, because it turns out I'm really good at solving cold cases. And then the movie ends and they give you like some text thing to kind of tell you how each of the characters ended up, which was weird that they did that in the first place. But what made me mad is they just kind of wrap it up for her going, she's doing well. And it's like, don't wrap this up. You made me the promise that I might get more movies of Anna Kendrick solving mysteries. And quite frankly, again, I can't keep up the joke of hating Anna Kendrick here. I would pay all the money for that. A film series, like multiple movies about Anna Kendrick, adorable, wonderful, charming, so fucking great Anna Kendrick solving groovy mysteries. Honey, I will just divert my paychecks to the movie theaters. Not that I don't already pretty much do that now, as many movies as I see. It's like, don't hang that carrot in front of me and yank it away in your final text scrawl. Don't do that. Fuck. I guess they still could, but I'm telling you, all the money, all the fucking money for that. Here, take it. Despite these minor issues, and some of them not so minor, like say the costume design and the length of the film are kind of glaring issues. But aside from that, and even despite how jarring I found this movie at times, I can't sit here and look into this camera and not say, that I didn't have a good time. I had a great time. It was a really original, really twisted, really amazing little movie that I didn't expect much of, to the point I almost didn't go see it. This was not on my list of things to see when I saw the trailers. It was like I didn't really care. I'm not even sure what made me decide finally, okay, I'm going to go check this out, aside from the fact that, I freaking love Anna Kendrick. But I'm really glad I did. This really was a good film. And again, not good in the traditional sense. Like, I could totally understand if you went and saw this movie and hated it. If someone came to me and said, I hated this movie, I can't say that I wouldn't understand, because I can see that it hit me in just the right way. The things that I liked about it were good enough that I could overlook some of the structural problems and tonal shifts and all of this. I think those items worked more often than they didn't. And they didn't always work. I'm not going to say that they worked the entire time. I think there are times they needed to settle into the drama a little bit more and leave the comedy kind of out of it, because it did kind of take a little bit of the weight off of it. But anyway, that being said, I do feel like the film worked more often than it didn't, and I really enjoyed it. Okay, so final grade for a simple favor. Man, can I just say one last thing? I don't like the title of this movie. I've called it everything except its true name. I mean, seriously, over the last several days or everything, I've called it every fucking movie title in the world except its actual name. Not a good name for this. I think they could have come up with something better. Anyway, so final grade for this one. It's a tough one. It's really a tough one. Man, I haven't had this much trouble kind of nailing a grade down before, or at least not for a while. It's like they're normally pretty right, pretty easy to nail down. But this one, again, just by its nature, is kind of difficult to give to give a final one too. So I'm sure the three people who watch these are just biting their nails waiting for me. I'm gonna say a B+ on this one. I'm really torn. I'm going back and forth on a B+ and an A- on this one. And even now that I say B+, I'm kind of kicking myself, going, no, this is an A- movie. So you know what? No, screw me. A-. We're going. I don't know what to say about it. Fuck. I was going B+ because, again, I can understand why people wouldn't like it. There's a lot in this that you have to kind of run with the flow with. So that's why I was going B+. But I kind of go back on that and now say A-, because even with all of those flaws, I still really enjoyed it. And it's a movie that it is a movie, I was talking about this last night with the wife, that I do want to watch again, because I don't know, there's a lot to get out of it. There's a lot to enjoy. So yeah, but even now that I say A-, I'm like, do I really mean that? So I don't know. I haven't had a movie that's kind of pulled me in different ways trying to judge it in a long time, which in a way is a good thing that this has done that. It makes you think. So we're going to say A- and stick it there for now, just because I can't quite seem to come up with anything else. So yeah, I enjoyed it. If you like dark comedies, black comedies, you like also, just really good performances and whatnot, check this one out. I hope you won't be disappointed, but again, I'd kind of understand if you were. So that's the weirdest contradictory review I have ever done. Like, seriously. Like, I can imagine the three people watching this going, what the fuck is this guy's problem? It's a long list. But that being said, so another fun movie down. I'm glad. It seems like we're kind of getting in, as we're getting towards the end of 2018, maybe we're actually getting some decent movies, which is good, because I was worried about my top 10 list for the end of the year, and it was looking pretty sparse there. So maybe we're gonna get some stuff that can help pull things out. So got another one this weekend that I'm planning, and as well as some retro reviews coming up. So I'm looking forward to doing those. So until next time, drive safe, and I will see you at the movies.